Dan, thank you for joining me for questions. Can you just tell me, when did you start at Clever?
Thank you very much. I started at Clever first week of September.
And what happened in September?
An awful lot.
Okay, do you want to elaborate? I mean, you've not worked in property before.
Yeah.
How have you found it?
Brilliant. Change of career, new steps, completely different, very fun, exciting and challenging.
And you worked in the hotel industry or the hospitality sector. What's been the big difference that you've noticed?
For me, going from more front of house to maybe getting back into an office, because I've never been in an office before. So the sort of change of environment and scenery for me, and maybe sort of day-to-day calls.
And what do you miss about being in the hospitality sector?
The same thing that's different is probably the same thing that I do miss is the more engaging face-to-face within the work and the trade itself.
Okay. And when you're in the office environment, what's the least enjoyable thing that you're challenged with?
Least enjoyable thing that I'm challenged with? Probably unhappy customers.
And so you get a lot of unhappy customers?
You can do.
Okay, what would you say is the number one complaint of tenants?
Probably the communication between certain jobs not being done in a good time frame.
And what's the most popular request of a job?
Hot water, heating, we can be lights. They're all quite popular, but they do vary and what changes.
We deal with a lot of international students. What are some of the challenges that you face dealing with people from other countries that might not speak English as a first language?
Well, yeah, first of all, it can be the language barrier, but there's an easy way around that. Sometimes it's easy to meet them in the office. I find that's a bit better rather than over the phone. And it's just sitting them down and being communicative with them and explaining, just laying out a process and showing them how they can report issues with our property file rather than over the phone. I think property file is the best way.
So, Dan, you're well known in the business for having a fancy car.
Yes.
What would be your dream job? Would it be, I don't know, to do with vehicles or cars?
My dream job would be probably something to do with blogging, I should say, on YouTube and test driving all the new supercars that come up.
So, thank you for offering to sit with us. I know you volunteered. A big press gang. So, do you just want to tell me what's your title in Clever?
Office Sales Administrator.
Okay, can you just describe to me a little bit about what that means to people?
Yeah, so obviously we deal with a lot of students, so mostly like a big chunk of my role is getting everything ready for September, sending out contracts, guarantor forms, completing referencing, but obviously we do have move-ins for sort of, the following week, so I'll often spend time doing that, getting them ready, doing the move-ins myself, so meeting the tenants, giving them a call, telling them an update and keeping them informed about the process.
So is there a lot of move-ins happening at the moment?
Yeah, quite a few. So we've been a bit busy in the last few months. It's sort of dying off now. So there's busy periods and there's non-busy periods.
And have you worked here since, you've not worked in September?
No, I haven't, not yet.
So what are people saying is going to happen in September?
Very busy, very, very busy.
And are you finding that you're getting things ready, prepared for September?
Definitely, yeah. And I think we're going to be much more prepared. So we're obviously just always learning from what works, what doesn't. So that's really good.
So September is 6 months away. So, you think, crikey, we're only halfway through the year. And you're already working towards next September.
Definitely.
That seems a long way away.
It's just a lot of properties, a lot of work to do, and the more prepared you can be, the better that it's going to go, the smoother it's going to go. So we would rather everything's ready and, looking good for the tenants so that it's nice and easy to move them all in.
So you're known as being a very organised person?
Very organised.
All of the shelves are tidied, and if we can look at the office now, it's ultra clean and everything's in its place.
This section.
So you go through and purge everything that's untidy and so do you enjoy taking control and making sure everything's organised?
Yes, I do. I like an organised workspace. I just think if your workspace and what's around you is organised and tidy, then your mind is a lot clearer. You can work a bit more efficiently.
So you're not a hoarder?
Not a hoarder whatsoever. Minimalist all the way.
Okay, and what's been some of the challenges since you worked here?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Sometimes things don't go to plan, and that just unfortunately is the way it is. Sometimes referencing doesn't go through correctly, and it's some of the difficulties is you have to call the tenant and have that difficult phone call where you have to say, unfortunately, this is the situation, but it's just about trying to spin it and be able to look, this is what's happened, but what we're going to do to get you moved in on time, that sort of thing.
And what did you do before you came to work here?
Oh, it's a JD Sports.
So that's totally different.
Totally different. I did work at a letting agency before that.
Okay.
But when we moved back down here, it was just grab any job.
So you worked at JD Sports and you've come here.
Yeah.
Is there any skills that you've taken from working in retail into property?
Yeah, probably just more like customer service. Your job is always very reliant on how the other side is going to react. So, you just got to remain professional, provide them with the information they need, and yeah, similar to kind of customer relationship. So that's helped in this sense. You've got to be able to communicate well with, your customer, which in a sense is, our tenants, our clients.